everyone. I'm Iliasda, Ili for short. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Congratulations from me to you for being one of my first viewers of my first ever content, right? So the first content title will be What to Do When You're Being Laid Off. Bit of a context, recession is coming, right? I think it's not coming. We are already in recession. So kalau tak silap, recession means a user taking a recess, like tengah berehat from buying a lot of things, right? Which resulting in a very low supply and demand. And because there's no supply and demand activity, companies not getting profit, that's why companies finding ways to limit their budget. So that's why this layoff activity is happening. And plus investor pun takut nak bagi duit dekat dorang, and that's why they don't have any more money and they're trying to limit their burn rate. So that's why the layoff is happening a lot these days. The reason why I want to do this content is because I'm one of the employees that got laid off. So I got laid off by my company and not being given a compensation, because in Malaysia you are supposed to get your 3 months compensation and also a garden leave, meaning to say you dapat the compensation and you don't have to work anymore, right? I think let alone that the word layoff itself is scary to begin with, because I started to think like, is it me not doing the good job? That's why out of everyone in the company, my name is on the list. I don't know, right? I did cry due to this situation, but to think of this again, right? Like, I'm not the only one, because there's a lot of people out there that actually experience the same thing like I did. I think for me and those people out there that experience the same thing, want it or not, we have to accept the situation as it is, cannot be undone anymore, and we have to understand the relevancy of why the boss is actually doing these things, right? Because try to put ourselves in their shoe. If you have a company and you're tumbling down, you have no more money, I think we would do the same thing, right? So there's no use of rattling on this situation, honestly. So the first thing that you need to be doing when you're being laid off is to really take the time off. You do not know the power that it got, right? Allow yourself to breathe, to wake up late on Monday mornings, and allow yourself to go to the cafe and stay there sampai pukul 12. Go out there and explore the world. I'm not saying you should waste your money or the compensation that you've got, but at least pergilah Langkawi ke, or Penang ke, or even to your nearest hotel, right? Like yang ada bathtub, and soak yourself in the bathtub and try not to think like any negative thoughts and feed yourself with that negative thoughts of why you're being laid off. I can share with you based on my experience, right? Like, few hours after I got the news, the first thing that I did was update my LinkedIn and my resume. Oh my god, you have no idea how bad the experience was. Every point that I've written down dekat dalam resume. I can give you one example, like led the team with this project, for example, right? There's always this one tiny dwarf at the back of my head saying that, are you sure you're leading the teams right? Like, because that's the reason why you're being laid off. So you can imagine how many points I've got in my resume. I have that tiny dwarf telling me those things. And that being said, take the time off from everything, right? Just spend a lot of time with yourself. Do some self-care. Go to the salon, go to the spa, go to the, I don't know, like do some facials, rather than facing the screen, open the LinkedIn, update the resume, and feeding yourself with negative thoughts. Whilst you're taking that time off, right, the next thing you should be doing is also to do a lot of self-reflection. So what is self-reflection? So simply put, self-reflection is you giving a serious thought about yourself. Your perangai, your motivation, your keinginan, your flaws. Because in order for you to be better, you must know your flaws. And if you cannot find one, probably that's the one. Trust me, it is. Why is self-reflection so important, right? The first main thing, it will make you a better learner, right? Bila you dah tahu your flaws, right? You try to find a way to improve that, right? So, and at the same time, you try to develop a resilience to deal with challenges and any changes at work. So, for example, one project, it doesn't work. Instead of saying, this project doesn't work because of this person, you try to flip that table and say that this project doesn't work because probably I don't put enough effort onto it. Something like that. And not only that, right? It can also boost your self-confidence. You know your flaws, you're dealing with it, not running away from it. With a lot of those things going on, it will for sure prepare you for something better, right? It will make you a better employee at work in your next career. And then you can update your resume. Oh my god. Don't be like me. I missed the first 2 steps and it made me a miserable girl. What needs to be written down in your resume is not something that I want to discuss here, right? Because I'm sure all of you know the deeds of what to add inside your resume, like putting in the key skills that you have learned from the company and all that. But what I want to stress more on is during the interview itself. Like, if the company asks you, why do you want to leave the previous company, be honest with the event of you being laid off. Try not to sugarcoat things, right? Because this is not a quote, this is because of you event, right? This is more like the global, the economy, the company not being able to afford you event, right? So be honest. And plus, this is a new relationship that you're trying to build. And if you're trying to build that based on lie, I don't think that's a good start. While waiting for the interview results, what you can do is take those online courses, right? There's a lot of free online courses out there from, Udemy, Coursera, Amazon and Google pun ada. It's all free, right? The reason why you need to take this is to brush up and iron out the skills that you have or you want to have to make sure that you're ready to face the new company and to prove to the new company that you're able to actually do so much more. I'm not sure if this is a relevant example, but I went through an online courses and of course a lot of YouTube videos on how to make this content, and resulting in me doing this first ever content. I sound super amateur. Like how I did it, I just ambil any free videos from pixels.com. I do some voiceover using my iPad Air. I just mix them together in iMovie and that's it. But what I'm trying to tell people is that once you took that online courses, try to make practice out of it. You jangan dah ambil the course, you letak dekat LinkedIn and your resume and end up not doing anything out of it, because it'll sound funny, right? Like when the interviewer is asking you like, hey, this is the skills that you have, like what are the experience that you've got with this? Trust me, you cannot answer this question. Now down to the last point of what to do when you're being laid off, right? I think it's more on connection. So try to reconnect with your previous bosses. Tell them what's happening to you. Ask them if there's a way for them to recommend you to their friends or even the previous company. I know it sounds funny to go back to your previous company, but there's no harm in going back to where you were before, right? If the environment, if the situation permits. What I meant here is not previous company, the company that you're being laid off, but more like company before you join the company that you being laid off, if you know what I mean. Not only bosses, right? I think you can also reconnect with your previous colleagues, your friends, your uni mates, or anybody that you think can be beneficial to your career moves. Not that I'm saying we should be selfish and use these people, tapi with the credibility that you have and people know you, it makes them even more comfortable referring you rather than referring to someone that they do not know of, right? So I think this is the last point that you should be doing. Try to reconnect with the people that you know of in order to get the job faster. That's all about it, I guess. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I know it's quite a boring video, but trust me, please give me as much feedback as possible in order for me to be better for my next content. I really want to try this. I really want to venture into this. So do let me know if there's anything I could improve for the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.